All right, and so we're live. So we're actually in the Centurion Lounge in Atlanta. So I found one of the phone suites. I was planning originally on doing this outside because it's actually pretty beautiful today, but it turned out to be a little rainy, and they actually closed one of the other. They have the interior kind of deck already closed off for construction or something, and then it's rainy on the one that faces all the planes and everything. So I'm in one of the phone suite things. Hopefully, there's not too much echoing, but we're in the Centurion Lounge and we are live, and we're here to talk about pretty much whatever you guys want to talk about. Obviously, the topic is pretty much just talking about different types of hotel credits. And but if you have any other general kind of credit card questions, please feel free to ask those as well. But anyway, I just want to kind of start by talking about my most recent experience. So this is my wife and I. We stayed in Atlanta for a couple days. It was my great aunt's 100th birthday, which is actually pretty insane. The 100th birthday thing is like they actually had a visit from her state senator for the birthday party and everything. Like it was actually pretty wild how many people showed up. But anyway, that's why I'm in Atlanta. But anyway, so we are in Atlanta and we stayed at the AC Hotel in the Atlanta Perimeter Center. So it's just north of Buckhead, if anyone's familiar with the Atlanta area. And it was actually pretty nice. We're pretty happy with the AC hotels that we've stayed at so far. We stayed at one in Huntsville earlier this summer, downtown Huntsville, and it actually had an amazing view. So there's in downtown Huntsville, there's like this little kind of like a park with a little lake in the middle of it, and then there's kind of like a little art museum, and so it was a wonderful view actually in that hotel. This hotel, there wasn't really much of a view either way. But AC hotels are really nice because they're kind of clean. They have it's the linoleum kind of floor, so you don't have to worry about like, have they cleaned this carpet in the last decade, which is always nice. The beds are pretty comfortable, and just everything's pretty nice over there at those hotels. But more specifically, interesting data point: I paid for points with both stays, so the one in Huntsville and the one in Atlanta here, and not once did I actually get charged taxes and fees, despite the fact that I was actually using points for this redemption. So it might be like an AC hotel thing, or maybe Marriott's kind of changing, but the only actual charges I got were for the parking charges. And so that's actually for both of the AC hotels. It was, I think, $16 a night for both stays. And so that's certainly interesting, right? So it's certainly worth noting. And that's actually one of the reasons why we didn't use our Fine Hotels and Resorts credits, because I have two of those that I have to use before the end of the year. We were going to stay at the Intercontinental, but it has a $55 a night parking charge, and it's valet, to be fair. But we decided that, we just wanted to be cheap and go just the regular way, and ended up being a little bit closer to what we needed anyway, which was also nice. So now that story's out of the way, let's catch up a little bit with our comments. So Chad's here. Great. Thanks so much for being here, Chad. I know you're kind of not really the biggest fan of the Centurion Lounge, but I love the Centurion Lounge. Fun fact, the meal today is chicken provençal. So it's the chicken thighs. They love the chicken thighs here, but it's with capers and white wine and olives, and it's actually pretty good. My wife does not like she doesn't like chicken thighs, like dark meat chicken at all. And so we actually ended up waiting in line at the McDonald's in the concourse, so she could have a little bit of something to eat before we came into the Centurion Lounge. But interesting. Dim, thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you. You're kind of one of my most, I think you've almost been to every single one of them. And Russell's here. Thanks so much for being here, Russell. Hyatt consumer card at the moment. Tell me your thoughts on it. Chase will finally introduce a luxury level Hyatt credit card. So honestly, so I don't have the Hyatt consumer card, but it's definitely on my short list if I ever did get below 524 status, which I guess I'm kind of, I should clarify that by saying, um, that, my wife is below 524 status, but she's not going to be getting the Hyatt card anytime soon. And that's because we're kind of riding the ink train. Honestly, her business is actually, like, she actually has an LLC. And so like, we have all the documentation needed to be getting actual business credit cards. And so, basically that's kind of, so I like the card. I would like to get the card eventually. Not going to get the card right now. My wife won't be getting the card, but if you are someone who stays reliably at Hyatt's, I would snatch it up. As far as getting a luxury Hyatt level credit card, like, I don't know why they don't, honestly, because like I think that, between Marriott and Hilton, there's been an expressed need, or at least a demonstrated need, for like a premium type credit card. And I feel like Hyatt's one of the only big hotel chains that doesn't have one. And I think that that's kind of like a miss for them. But we'll see what that happens. Like, I would love to see that happen. I haven't seen any rumors that it's in the works. But I'm sure Joe Bretto's already talked to like 5 or 6 customer service reps about whether or not that's going to be coming down the pike. Ron, thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate you. Kirby's here. Love it. Awesome. Thank you. Yes. So Points with Philip live, and again from the Centurion Clouds, or Centurion Lounge. That's why the lighting isn't so great. They just have like a spotlight above me. I did have kind of a portable lighting rig that I keep in my travel setup. So hopefully that'll fix it a little bit. But yeah, awesome here. Texas Dog, thanks so much for being here. Howdy. All congrats to your aunt. 100 years is amazing. Yeah. She lived in Atlanta pretty much all her life. I did not know this actually because I haven't really talked to her, but she actually was a pilot. She was a trained pilot during World War II, which is like, it's just astounding that there's someone who's alive that we can talk to. That was like, that's amazing to me. But yeah, thanks so much, Texas. Dim City Preferred Hotels 1 to 4 conversion is great. Yeah. So the I Prefer program, it's solid. I really started looking into it. I did a video, and if this were a pre-recorded video, I'd be pointing over here. But I did a video where I talked about the Capital One transfer partners, and I Prefer is great, but it's not great at 1 to 2. Now, I think I understand why they did it with Capital One, because it works out to be about essentially, for most properties that I looked at, it's that each Capital One point gets to be about 1 cent in value redemption, which it's not terrible, right? It's not a terrible option for you, but for City, yeah, absolutely. That 1 to 4 City's honestly kind of dominating the game here. American Airlines, I Prefer. They do really well with Choice. I think it's 1 to 2 with Choice too. And so, if you're someone who's traveling pretty reliably, City's becoming kind of a major contender, at least when it comes to usability of points. At least based on what I'm thinking. Let's see, Texas at Points. Be sure to eat at Varsity before you leave. Yes. So here's the thing, and I always say that a lot. I'm sorry. So my great aunt, she loves Varsity. They printed out signs with her face on it from the Varsity and gave it to us. And so we actually had the Varsity cater the birthday party, like they were there. And she loves the chili dogs, and so we had the chili dogs there. We had the chips, and then of course the pies. Which the pies, if you haven't had a Varsity fried pie, they have apple and peach, and I really love both of them. My wife loves the apple one a little bit better. They come with cinnamon in them. It's not like just your standard like McDonald's fried pie. Like it's actually legit. And so yeah, so thanks so much for the heads up on that. But yeah, the Varsity is amazing. I've actually been to a couple of different locations in Atlanta. My favorite's the original one over there by Georgia Tech. That's really incredible. Burley, you're here. Hey man, asked about the CSP a while back, got approved 31 days after the Freedom Flex 2. Wow, that's so great. I'm so glad to hear that. The CSP is like, my wife got it, and we got it with the 100,000 point offer, which you probably remember when I talked to you about it before. But that was one of the reasons why we got the card. But it's nice. I like the protections. Even the rental car protections aren't as great as some of the other cards I have. Like, so we have the Ritz-Carlton card, and so when I do a rental car there, but if I didn't, I use that card. But if I didn't have the Ritz, the Chase Sapphire Preferred would be a good contender for that, just because they do have a decent amount. Specifically, if you don't have, I think their cutoff is like 65 or 55,000 in value. So if you're renting just a regular car, it probably won't matter. And so, there's that. But yeah, it's a solid card. 2x on travel is, 2x on travel is like it's certainly better, right, than any other options, right? So you have, unless you have the ink, I think the premier or the ink preferred or whatever, the one that still has the 3x standard travel, like that's great. But if you're looking for just kind of a general travel category, and if you're in Chase's ecosystem, that's solid too. So it's good. I use the Venture. Like if I'm going to get 2x, I'd rather just use the Venture because the Capital One miles, like I've been getting good value from them. But yeah, thanks so much. I'm so glad that you got approved, and at 31 days after Freedom Flex too. That's a solid duo. Kirby, speaking of business cards, I need to take a Staples trip. No shenanigans. Yeah, no shenanigans whatsoever. I actually was trolling Reddit a couple days ago, and I found like someone saying that like they were getting kind of intense about credit cards. Like they actually messaged someone and told them. I think it was with American Express, so they got credit or gift cards, and they're like, "Oh, it's not supposed to be used." I'm like, I mean, we all know that, right? But yeah, enjoy your no shenanigans trip. Texas Dog, that is so awesome. Frosted Orange is absolutely good too. Yeah, every time we actually go in person, we always get a couple things. So my wife and I actually really like the burger. She likes the hot dogs. So I get a burger. She gets a hot dog with a chili on it, of course. And then we get onion rings to share. And then we also each get a pie. So I usually end up getting the peach. She gets the apple. And then we also split a frosted orange too. So that's, yeah, it's the varsity. It's great. There's a reason it is essentially a tradition. Like it's a staple of Atlanta. And so that's good. We actually didn't go on any, we didn't do any Resi restaurants this trip. Tim, Kirby just ordered my Target gift card through Staples for $20 Biz Gold credit a few minutes ago. Nice. I pretty much on my Biz Gold, I only use it for Grubhub. And so I did a pickup order for quesadilla and some chips and salsa, or chips and guac. And so that's, that's pretty great. Filmo, great. Thanks so much for being here too. Love Filmo. I'm downgrading my CSP. Do I deploy for my, do I dare apply? Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, most hated card, I get you, but yeah. Honestly, like Chase's cards, like I love to hate them. I love to hate all of Chase's cards, right? Because there's always something a little bit different that they could do to make them just like astoundingly better, right? But they are always in my wallet. I always have my Ritz-Carlton card in my wallet because of the travel protections and because of they actually have some pretty good offers on that card too. But yeah, that's awesome. Kirby, I actually buy gift cards for the correct purpose. I'm way too scared of getting absolutely obliterated by Chase. Yeah, that's true. Getting on Chase's no list would not be very helpful for any of us, I think. I stock up on gift cards for Walmart when they have no fee and buy lots of food gift cards. Oh, okay. That's awesome. I love that. But yeah, no, I think there's definitely something to be said for that because like if you're using like even like Starbucks gift cards or something, like you're going to go to Starbucks sometimes, right? So that's good. Filmo with the CSR, the whole credit card ecosystem. The CSR, like, here's the thing. Do I think that the Platinum card is leaps and bounds better than the Chase Sapphire Reserve? Absolutely, right? Absolutely. The Chase Sapphire Reserve, it definitely is not playing, it's not even playing the same game as the Platinum card, but do I kind of wish I had it maybe a little bit? But I mean, I do have the Ritz-Carlton card, so I get the Sapphire Lounge access, which honestly, like that's kind of the superpower of Chase's premium travel cards, right? But the CSR, I mean, it'd be nice to have, right? It looks pretty. And I'll have any card with the sign-up bonus is good enough. But yeah, no, that Filmo, that would be hilarious. That actually should be your first video if you haven't done one already. Mike Newland, thanks so much for being here. Any card that has a free night credit with no limit with what you can book. Absolutely, yeah. I love my Aspire card. In fact, so I got my base card Hilton. So when it was the 100,000 point offer, I got that. So no annual fee, which is solid. I got 6 months to spend $2,000. I was planning on already being done with that. But Mesa threw kind of a spending bonus kind of thing at me. So I've been kind of working on that. It's not the best. It's $10,000 in spend over 3 months. But 50,000 points is good, specifically because my wife and I are going to be booking a trip to Edinburgh. And what we were planning on doing, Cathay Pacific, booking British Airways first class to Heathrow. And so Mesa points transfer 1-to-1 with Cathay. So, that's on my list. So that's kind of taken priority, but I will definitely be converting that base Hilton card to my second Aspire. So having 2 free night awards is going to be amazing. Texas Doggo, yeah, the rings are good too. Yeah, the onion rings are amazing at the Varsity. Kirby G, Amex and Chase hate to see Filmo coming. Yeah, I feel like Filmo is definitely more kind of anti-Chase than anti-Amex, unless I'm kind of getting the wrong impression there. But yeah. Stacy, thanks so much for being here. Where did the intro say you were? So I'm actually in the Centurion Lounge in Atlanta. So I was kind of like nervous about whether or not this was going to happen. I was planning on doing this outside. Oh, great. I think there's an alarm going off. Oh, well. If I burn, well, it'll be on live stream. But anyway, so I was planning on being outside, but it's kind of rainy outside, and they actually closed the interior kind of outside patio. And so, I'm basically just in one of the phone suites. Oh, the alarm went off, so good thing I didn't move. But yeah, so thanks so much for being here, Stacy. I really appreciate you. Texas Dog, canceling my personal CSR when annual fee hits. Yeah, that's a big annual fee. And like, I think the thing that I hate the most about the Chase Premium cards is, the DoorDash credits. Like I'm not going. So I get delivery groceries. I get groceries delivered, but that's covered through Walmart Plus. My wife has the Target Red thing. So like, between that membership and Walmart Plus, like we get the free groceries. We don't have to worry about that, which is nice. But the DoorDash thing, like the DoorDash groceries, I'm not going to do 2 a month and to save $10. I'm not going to change my behavior to do that. The Kirby, the good thing about being at 724 is that I never have to think about Chase. Unless I think Amazon and actually the Bonvoy Boundless I got at 724. So maybe Kirby wants to be a Boundless person. I can use my cash ink and CSP. You always have a few points trickling in. Absolutely, right? Especially with the fact that you can actually, so when Hyatt points go on sale, and it has to be on the full sale in order to even make a remotely amount of sense. You can use that to kind of supplement your Chase spend, which is, definitely take a look at that option too. Texas Dog, hey, at Mike Newland. At Texas Dog, good afternoon. How's it going? So you guys are talking. Awesome. Kirby, when I go to Cancun in November, should I hit up the Delta Lounge or Centurion? I have the Reserve. Honestly, so the Sky Clubs are, what's weird? Okay. So the Centurion clubs, I always feel like it's almost more welcoming every time I go to one. Now, to be fair, I've only gone to this one. I've been to this one 8 times. This is my 8th time here this year. But like whenever I go to a Sky Club, I feel like I just need to like invent a company name, and I need to get like a golf like pant, and then like a good like business casual like shoe, and then I have to have like an IBM laptop in order to be able to actually fit in at the Sky Club, because it's a very corporate, right? It's a very corporate environment with the Sky Club. So I would just do the Centurion. I like the food better. The fact they actually give you plastic or like glassware is really nice. This is an old fashioned with 4 roses, which second one of the day, so that's fun. But yeah, so I would say hit up the Centurion Lounge. But Sky Clubs are great too. It's just like, it's just crazy because you get all these, mid-level sales execs, and they're all just, Delta Diamonds or Delta Platinums, and I just don't really fit in that well, But yeah, no, you definitely go to both, right? I'd apply for the Boundless if they would approve me. Yeah, honestly, I'd shoot my shot. Honestly, it's not a bad card, even if you don't get the Ritz. But if you do get the Ritz, then that's good too. Texas Dog, DoorDash credits and Peloton credits are absolutely. The Peloton credit, like I feel like Peloton kind of like almost shouldn't even exist as a company anymore, right? Like they were okay during COVID. They probably did pretty well, their best possible ones, but I don't feel like people are buying their stuff anymore, unless I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not. Let's see. Oh, you do have a 4-hour labor. What you should do, Kirby, is do a video where you compare the Sky Club and the Centurion Lounge. And then, definitely do all that. You should definitely do that video. That would be great. Kirby had just like a slob on travel days. I was wondering how I get it. I tried wearing pants one time when I traveled. I was just like, I like the shorts. I actually got some bare bottom shorts. They're actually really comfortable. And so you don't actually need to wear a belt with them. I would just throw on my travel polo. Sorry about my mic. I got my Points and Phillip logo on, and there we go. So yeah, no, honestly, most people are kind of at leisure. Like there's a lot of Lululemon people here, probably some newly Lululemon people here. All right, Dim, City Prestige, 4th night free, saved me $1,025 on a recent booking. Wow, that's amazing. Underrated benefit that I can use 2x yearly. Yeah, that's the City Prestige card is still kind of broken. Like it broke the entire mold, right? Like the City Prestige card, like 6x, I think it's 6x, right? Or was it 5x or something on dining? Well, it's high, right, on dining, right? And it's unlike the Elite, right? It's actually like anytime. So that's nice. So that beats everything. And then having that 4th night free is crazy. Like that's a perk that actually it works to make more people book on City's travel platform, which I feel like there's not really much of that anywhere else. Like sure, there's the Fine Hotels and Resorts program, there's the edit credit ish, but I feel like if you're a business, if you're a banking business that's trying to grow that sort of aspect of your business, right? Your travel portal, that's the way to do it. Make it easy, make it rewarding, reliably rewarding. That's really nice. Stacy says the DoorDash benefit is easy. I use at Sheets, get some basics, paper towels, stock up on drinks and other basics. They changed the wine selection though, so I'm sad. Okay, yeah. But we'll be downgrading August 2026. Yeah, I can get that. I didn't realize that Sheets was part of it, so that kind of makes sense, because then you wouldn't have to worry so long. I think the last time I used it was for so Fresh Market. Like I was really hankering their milk chocolate covered peanuts because they double dip them, and so they're really really good. And so I got that and some bananas and some other things, and at Fresh Market, and it really just kind of like the person like just didn't get the chocolate peanuts, didn't get like the bananas were like green, and I was like, this is worthless. But hey, as long as it works for you, then that's great. But anyway, David Fraga, thank you so much. Hey Phil, enjoy that old fashioned for me. Absolutely. This is actually really good. And the thing I love about the Centurion Lounge too is they ask you how sweet you want it to be. So you go to some places and they just lower it. Like they just put like maraschino cherry juice in it and just call it a day. And it's like, it's a little bit more intense than that. But yeah, no, that's thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. Chad's Money Minutes, nothing against the Centurion Lounges. I just like to give everyone a fair shot considering how many different lounges I've been to. That's true. I love the one in DCA, and Sea Centurion is my favorite domestic lounge. I haven't been to the one in DCA. I keep flying into DCA, but I haven't flown out of it yet this year. So I definitely want to do that next. It looks like it could be really cool. But yeah, that's true. It's very easy to talk about how great the Centurion Lounge is, right? It's amazing, right? It's a great lounge. And it's probably kind of the most exposed, like most discussed kind of lounge, because I feel like Sapphire lounges are cool, but there's not that many of them. I feel like Centurion Lounge is kind of like threading that needle of like Instagram ready, but also there's a decent amount of them, so people kind of have access to them readily. But yeah, that's a solid point. Texas Dog, I still have not visited Centurion in Atlanta. My terminal is the very first one, so I go to, okay, not worth the train ride to terminal with Centurion Lounge. Yeah, no, that's true. We're flying out of B concourse right now, and so we're actually going to have to wrap it up soon because I have to get going. Because when you're in first boarding group, you got to make sure you're actually there when they open the door, or else everybody takes your get baggage stuff. We're in first class because Delta points are actually pretty intense. I think I got like 3 cents a point for this particular conversion. So first class to Orlando is amazing. All right, but I've gone to Terminal D to scarf down at the Varsity into United Lounge to relax before flight. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to go to the Varsity. One thing that I do love, if you have anybody that's going into DC, is Bin's Chili Bowl. If you've ever had Bin's Chili Bowl, so you have to go to, first of all, you have to go to the original location on U Street. It is amazing. So they have half smokes there. They have chili dogs. They have it's a traditional diner, but it's got a lot of history in the community, a lot of soul. And there is a location in DCA Airport. And so, it tastes the same, right? But like, if you're looking for that dynamic experience, definitely go to the one on U Street in Washington. But yeah, no, the Varsity is kind of along that same lane. It's definitely worth the trip. Awesome. Kirby, so where are you traveling, Philip? So yeah, I'm actually going home. So I actually traveled just to Atlanta, and we were staying because my great aunt was she turned 100. And this is it's incredible. She turned 100. There was a state senator showed up, congratulated her and everything. The varsity catered the whole thing because she's obsessed with the varsity. And so that's we're on our way back because I got to go to work tomorrow, so that's going to be fun. Dim 3 cent per point on is a Delta is a great redemption. So I actually went through Delta. So one thing that I have noticed is that if you're trying to get to first class, if you book early enough in advance and kind of like play the field a little bit, like check it multiple times, like I think for this first class redemption, it was actually about 15,000 points per seat per way. And so, not bad, right? It's because that's, what you're getting for when you're getting Alaska and you're trying to do American, right? Like that's, the first class, that's the basic first class redemption on American through Alaska Airlines, Atmos right now. And so we actually booked with Delta. Now we did have to be flexible with the time. Like when we flew out earlier, we flew to Atlanta on Friday. We did the 7 a.m. flight in order to be able to actually keep the point redemption affordable. But what I have seen is a lot of people are actually just booking regular flights, regular seats, and you can't do basic economy. You have to do economy. But every once in a while, they'll give you some really good upgrade point values. Where I think a buddy of mine, he was able to upgrade to first for I think it was 10,000 points or something like it wasn't bad. It was not a bad redemption. So there's a couple different ways to play it. We decided to just book first because I kind of made a bad decision this summer. And that was to fly my wife on first class. So we did first class this summer. We've done Delta a couple times. We did American a couple times, and we did Breeze Ascent package a couple times. And so she's feeling a little bougie, and so she's actually really not looking forward to going to Puerto Rico just because I did Southwest. Because if you want to go directly from Orlando to Puerto Rico, San Juan anyway, it's pretty much Southwest, Spirit, or Frontier. And so pretty much Southwest is the one that I had the points for. So, that's kind of what we're dealing with. But yeah, no, that's it was a really good redemption. I was kind of proud of it. Chad's, yes, Ben's. I was there last time I was in DCA last month. Yeah, Ben's Chili Bowl is amazing. I had a girlfriend when I lived in DC who her apartment was really close to U Street up on that park. I forgot the name of that park up there. And so after I would go visit her, I'd go get some Ben's Chili Bowl on the way back to my apartment. And it was just a really great experience, really great memories. Texas Dog, I'm about to start cooking lunch. Have a safe trip. Thanks so much, Texas Dog. I appreciate you being here. Kirby and my buddy invited our congressman to his wedding, and he showed up and have an American flag that flew over the White House. That's amazing, dude. Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting how easy it is to do that, because I think if you can maintain some sort of communication with your local congressperson, they can get you kind of personal tours of the White House, personal tours of the Capitol building in DC, and then even the State House if you're interested in visiting there. You can get some cool stuff by just reaching out to your Congress people. Because if you're nice, the interns are going to flag your email, and they might bring you out. Unless you Brightline it south for a better flight to PR. That's true. I could do that. I really want to make Brightline trip work. I love trains. I love high-speed trains. I love the idea of Brightline. But every time I do it, every time I look at it, I'm like, why am I spending $40 for this trip? Because they advertise it. It's as low as $39 or something. But it's there's 2 seats at 5 a.m. and you can't pick where you're going to sit. I'm like, I'm not going to travel like that. I'm not. And so it's worth it if you spin the wheel like that. But I haven't done Brightline yet, because it's just the way I want to do it is more expensive than I would be willing to pay for that trip, considering the fact that I can just drive it for about the same amount of time. But yeah, no, that's not worth it for such a quick trip. Yeah, I agreed. All right, so I'm actually going to have to start wrapping it up. But yes, we didn't really talk about hotels that much. But I was just, I did want to talk about the Aspire card, because the Aspire card comes with a free night certificate, and I did a members only video that I dropped on Saturday, so yesterday, and I talked about what you can do with that credit, and it's actually kind of, with the recent Hilton devaluations, this credit is actually kind of more of a superpower, more goated than it was before, because you can still actually get a free night in Bora Bora if you're going to be one of those people, right? But still, a free night in Bora Bora is not a free night, right? Because you got to pay for more nights, you got to pay for the transfer, the whole 9 yards, right? But you can actually stay at the Waldorf. The brand new Waldorf in New York is still going for as low as 150,000 points if you can find standard room availability. And so if you have 2 free night certificates, you can stay at the Waldorf in New York for 2 nights, save $3,000, right? That's just the ability to do that is insane. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing that. All right, so we have Jonathan, sorry, Martinez. Hey Philip, love your content. I recently got the Amex Green Biz card with hopes of an upgrade offer to Gold. Any thoughts on what the refresh to the Green Biz would look like? If it's possible, Amex seems to care less about the business green card than they do even the personal green card. Like the multipliers just don't make sense, right? It would be nice if they threw it some love. It's been a while. I haven't heard any rumors specifically about the business green, but I feel like if they do the personal green, the business green would kind of be a part of it because we've seen that with the platinum card, right? So the platinum card got a refresh, the business platinum got a refresh. Now that wasn't the case with the gold card. Actually, no, it was the case. So it was the same year, just not the same time, right? The business gold card got that annual fee hike, but then they added the credit for the flexible business credit. So I feel like if they do sometime, and they kind of have to, I feel like a lot of people are kind of the conventional wisdom, not sure how reliable that is saying that we're looking at sometime in the spring. I think if they do the personal green, they're going to do the business green. I hope so. I really hope so. But were you able to actually at least get the sign-up bonus for the business green? I'm curious about that. Dim, you can choose your seat on Brightline. I use it frequently for work trips to meet clients in Orlando. Oh, okay. I thought you had to pay to do it. So whenever I went to booking it, it looked like you had to pay for it. So I haven't actually pulled the trigger on that, but that's good to know. Thanks, Dim. Yeah, so it's funny. So my wife, when she worked so it was actually, so she used to have Brightline as a client. So she works in advertising, and they actually they had her on there, right? So they actually, did the trip with her, with the director of communications with Brightline. I forgot what her name was, and a really great lady. Actually, we did a food and wine because they were doing an ad deal with Hulu, and Hulu decided to take us all out to Epcot for the Food and Wine Festival and pay for everything on their corporate Amex, which thank you, Hulu. Appreciate you. But yeah, so the Brightline, I want to do it, right? And they do have a solid rewards program. I really kind of think they actually started really pushing the Venture card and the Venture X card. It would be really cool if there were either a Brightline credit card or if Brightline became a transfer partner of Capital One, then I would definitely try to do that. That would be amazing. Kirby, I need the Hilton cards to give the free night sub for my Japan trip in July. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that would be good. I feel like so they just recently had it, but I do know they have higher sign-up bonuses now. But yeah, no, I would definitely try to farm the free night awards if you could, because those are infinitely more reliable than just having points to the bank at this point. Anthony Ventures, Centurion baby. Yeah, absolutely. We're in the Centurion Lounge having our old fashioned. And of course we can't without talking about the sweet tea. This sweet tea is the best sweet tea I've ever had in my life. And I've had a lot of sweet tea, you can tell. Yeah. Boxer, thanks so much for joining here. Sorry I have to actually kind of pack up, but boarding starts in 15 minutes. So I'm going to have to go ahead and pack up because my wife is somewhere and I need to go meet up with her. But anyway, thanks so much for being here, guys. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I landed the 25. Oh, wow. That's great. Because I think the standard is 15, right? Because I was looking at that too, because I need another referral link. A card with referral bonus. And so, with rye whiskey. Okay. I landed the 25K sub. That's awesome. I'm going to have to try that actually, because I kind of want one. Old fashioned with rye whiskey. So what's your favorite rye whiskey? I'm curious if you're still here. Sweet tea is diabetes in a glass, especially this one. It is so sweet. But it's always perfectly brewed every single time. I love it. Safe flight. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate you. I'm going to have to wrap it up. But you guys have been incredible. Thanks so much. Sorry I had to skip last weekend, but I'm so glad that we had such a great community of here. And, I'm so appreciative of you guys. And thanks so much for joining me again. And we're going to have to wrap it up. But thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you.